Hello there. So today we're going to talk about jaw pain, headaches, posture, and I'm going to give you a really simple self-care exercise that you can do to really try to help with your mobility and to make those first sort of steps towards improving your posture. So many of us tend to have a posture that doesn't really lend itself well to jaw pain. From sort of sitting at desks all day to looking down at our phones to sort of slouching on the sofa, and also other conditions such as anxiety or asthma. Breathing conditions can just tend to bring us quite forwards in our shoulders, and this adapting into these new postures, it usually takes many years of sort of us not possibly noticing what's happening with the body, and then we just get to a stage where we realise that our body has actually adapted and is now holding us in this posture, which is not always ideal. So before we move on to the exercise, I'm just going to tell you about the two types of posture sort of issues that can really impact sort of jaw pain and headaches. And they are firstly a kyphotic posture, and what that means is a real kind of rounding of the upper back here. So it kind of, if you imagine sort of like sometimes you see it with an older person, for example, which you see them kind of coming forward more, and it's actually seems to me to be more common with younger people as well. So it's kind of, the kyphotic is kind of like a exaggerating rounding in the thoracic spine, this area sort of between the shoulder blades here. Then the other type of posture, which is often, these two often go together, but they can be separate, is forward head posture, which is, pretty self-explanatory really. So ideally our head should be nicely in line with our spine. And that actually gives us, if you imagine sort of the strength of your spine, all the way down to your sacrum, that's a lot of stability and strength for the head because the head is heavy. So if it's back and it's over the spine, then, the joints actually do some of the work for the muscles that are holding the head. So everything can kind of work together quite well as a synergy there. But when we start to sort of bring the head forwards, which, as we explained earlier, the reasons for this could be multifactorial, then suddenly the spine isn't taking the weight of the head anymore, and we've got the muscles having to take the weight of the head. So these muscles at the front here can become like overstretched, and the muscles at the back of the head in particular, can become quite compressed. And this leads to trigger points and all of the other things that we've spoken about in other videos in the neck and the shoulders, actually causing this referral of pain up into the head and the jaw. So let's think about what we can do about this. So firstly, there's just, the basic exercise of just standing against the wall and feeling the back of your head against the wall. Doing that is great to sort of raise awareness and to start to retrain your body. If you stand at the wall for 5 minutes or so, then and you keep that up every day, then that's a good way to kind of, sort of tell your body that this is the position that you'd really like your head to be held in. And another thing to think about is really like mobility, because this part here, so this sort of part between the shoulder blades and going down a little bit further down, the thoracic spine, it can become quite locked together so that when you move, you're actually moving that whole chunk of vertebrae together rather than having sort of more of a dynamic movement of each vertebrae moving separately. And if you think about that kyphotic posture that we spoke about earlier, that's often the case if you have that kind of posture, that you haven't actually got much mobility through that upper spine. So a really great way to tackle that is a yoga exercise called cat-cow, which you may have come across if you practice yoga. And it's usually done on the floor, on your hands and knees, but I'm going to take you through a way that you can do this seated. And the reason that we're going to do this seated is because Sometimes people just haven't got the mobility to get down onto the floor, and sometimes that's also quite difficult to fit into your daily routine. So this one's easy because you can do it at your desk or your table or wherever you are day to day. So I'll just talk you through it. What you're going to do is you're going to sit with your hands on your thighs. So you're going to sit on a chair or the edge of a sofa or the edge of a bed. Any of those are fine. You're going to have your hands just on your thighs. Just going to take a breath to start with. So nice breath in and out. Okay. And the next breath in that you take, we're just going to think about tucking the chin in, and at the same time sliding the hands forward on your thighs. So you come into this sort of movement, and I will show you from the side view soon. And then as you exhale, we're going to think about sliding the hands back, taking the chin up and bringing the shoulders back. Another inhale, you're going to come forward, tuck the chin and come into this sort of exaggerated curve. Exhale, lift up the chin and bring the shoulders back. And as I talk, you can just slowly carry on going through those movements as you breathe in and breathe out. It's important to just not put yourself in any pain. So if you feel like a real tightness around the front of the neck and it feels a little bit uncomfortable, then that's fine. But if you feel any kind of sharp pain, either the front or the back of the neck or anywhere, then just know that probably means you're taking it a bit too far at the moment, because we need to kind of convince your brain that your body is safe through this movement. So if that's the case, then just, come into the level where you don't feel pain and stop there, and then take it back and go to the level where you don't feel pain and stop there. And we're going to do sort of 20 of these. So we're going to be here for 20 breaths basically. So I'll just run it through so you can see it on the side view as well. So starts off quite neutral. As we take a breath in, we slide the hands forward, tuck the chin, and really, as much as you can, come into this quite exaggerated movement. And then as you exhale, bring the elbows back, slide your hands back along your thighs, look up to the ceiling. Okay, so give that a go. Let me know how it goes. If you can do it a couple of times a day, you can't do this too much, so the more that you do it, the better. And the more movement you should start to notice through your neck and your spine, which is really the first step towards actually improving your posture, is getting that mobility back.